Sure. Thanks as always for coming out. And speaking of fall sports, big congrats to our fall sports. I know they're having their fall presser downstairs, and as always, as we are one big Terp family, wish all of them the best. I know a bunch of them have gotten started already, but definitely wish all of my counterparts here in the athletic department the best moving forward. In regards to Saturday, obviously we had to turn the page really, really quickly. We practiced probably a little over 16 hours later. We were in the Jones Hill House indoor facility for a Sunday night practice. As norm, when you play on a Friday, everything gets shifted up a day. So this to me is Tuesday, I guess, or Wednesday. This is my Wednesday's practice that we have coming up today. Our players got back in after FAU, focused on getting better and improving that we always talk about. I've already seen some of the improvements. The energy and effort we've had the last couple of days, being a short week, has been really, really good. When you talk about NIU, it's a program that, I know their head coach really well, Thomas Hammock, has been coach of the year, I think, a couple of years ago. Big upsets, I think, over Notre Dame a couple of years ago. So this is a program that's accustomed to playing these types of games where most people outside the program don't think they have a chance. But I can tell you, when you watch them on tape, which I've done the last 3 days, really well-coached team. On defensive structure, sound, tackles well. On the offensive side of the ball, they know who they want to be. They're a run-first team and ball control. But those guys are really well-coached. And then on the special teams, you'll see they made a couple of plays with some additions to their program. I'm definitely looking forward to Friday night being back home here in the Shell. I know our players are excited to be able to play under the lights here, and we expect it to be a great atmosphere. As we've seen over the years with having played some of these Friday games, our people tend to come out for a Friday night, and looking forward to our really talented group of young players making the big jump from week 1 to week 2 that we expect. Our game captains for this week are Jalen Husky, Shalik Punch Knotts, and Octavian Smith Jr. representing our special teams. And with that, I'll open it up for questions.
Hey, Mike, generating pass rush without adding guys was something you talked about in training camp. Just how did you see that manifest itself in the opener, and how much did Ted Montecchino's imprint or influence have on that?
Yeah, as you guys probably know, I'm pretty authentic when I come up here and speak, and the things that I think I've talked about, our kicking game, the pass rushers on the edge of being good young players, the quarterback room being a room that all three of those guys we felt we can win with. We've got a good young team, and I'm excited to see this team grow. By no means have we arrived because we had some success. The good thing is we won, but there were a lot of things that could be cleaned up in that game, and that's what as coaches our jobs are to do, to get those things cleaned up so that they don't show back up on tape. And I can tell you that our team is one of those young teams that they don't know what they don't know. They showed up Sunday, very short window for celebrating a win, the first win in the Shell for 64 of those guys, and they came back with the right attitude. When you win, you're able to coach guys really hard, and the things that we need to get improved, we will.
Mike, Dave Preston, WTOP
Dave,
Radio
what's
in
up?
Washington. The cliche is the biggest improvement a team has is from week 1 to week 2 in a college football season. Where are you expecting your team to improve from week 1 to week 2 this year?
There's a bunch of areas. The run game on offense is one of the areas that, with the addition of what we wanted to do, I can tell you I didn't anticipate throwing the ball 43 times. But we do run a style of offense that allows, if they're going to load the box up, we have to take advantage of what they give us. But, we had some short yardage situations that I didn't feel like we played with the right mentality. And as a group that's starting to gel and come together, that O-line, and having seen what we did during training camp, that's one of the areas on the defensive side of the ball. Obviously, we've got two really dynamic pass rushers, number 9 and 29, and they're both very young, and they both have very little experience of understanding, people are going to try to take advantage of the aggressiveness. So we've got to, obviously, the snap count jumps up. Sidney Stewart had 2 false starts or 2 offside penalties. And I'm going to just tell you, it bothers nobody more than Sidney. And he's a conscientious young player that's starting his first game as a Terp. And played really well, but those are the areas for me, those are concentration, focus issues that young players, when they fail the way he failed, and he hates that happened, that he'll be better for it.
And then Northern Illinois' defense, they had that fumble recovery for a touchdown, a safety last Saturday in their win over Holy Cross. What is it about their D that concerns you as somebody who's game planning for them?
I think the big thing is they're very sound in gaps. Defensive football is about the structure of maintaining and having gap assignments. And, these guys play with great discipline and great gap control and consistency. And so for us, this is where our best players are going to have to make a guy miss maybe in the box, or break a tackle, or we're going to have to make a 50-50 contested catch because they'll be where they're supposed to be. And I always say hope's not a game plan. They very rarely put themselves in harm's way with how they line up structurally, and then they'll play really sound, and they play really, really hard, which is the sign of a well-coached team. And as I said, Thomas Hammock does a really good job.
Hey, Coach. You mentioned the Friday night games. The attendance has been better. What have you liked about playing those nights? You guys have played, I think it's 6 games in Friday night since you got here. What's the best thing about playing that day?
I think the best thing is that it gives us a chance to amplify the University of Maryland, a place I grew up loving as a kid, coming over, watching those mid-'80s teams. It amplifies that we're the 10th ranked academic institution in the country on a national stage that plays in a really tough conference, and it gives us a chance to showcase that we have the ability, because of where we are, the most powerful city in the world, 20 minutes away. Baltimore, another great city, 25, 30 minutes up the road. Our location is second to none. So all these things, when you have a chance to play on national TV, we're, as the marketing arm for the athletic department, the university at that time, have a chance to really shine a light on what the University of Maryland's all about.
Hey, Coach, how you doing?
Heather.
That is a solid shirt.
Marketing. Oh, this old thing?
Yeah. Malik, obviously you had him in camp, you saw him in high school, but then to see him actually in a game for you, things didn't maybe start off the way you wanted. What did you like about his approach during the game, mentally, physically, that allowed him to have such success?
Yeah, I think you may have been the one that asked the question when you said, what's one thing about each quarterback? And with Malik, I think the answer was maturity. And I think what you guys saw is what I said to you guys, is that this kid is a little more mature beyond the years, very similar to some other quarterbacks that I've had a chance to work with and be around. And, that maturity showed up when you start off 1 for 8, but you had 3 drops too, so we got to help him. A run game would help him as well. And I saw a young quarterback really put it on himself to deliver some great throws. Did he play perfectly? No, not at all. There was a lot of improvement. But he's also a guy that I know did miss some time during training camp, and he's really just starting to maybe get to 2 to 3 weeks in of actually having an opportunity to go compete. And that's where I think, much like every piece of this program, you'll see him get better from week 1 to week 2. But I also think because of what he's been able to do, you'll see defenses now try to do some things knowing who our quarterback is to take advantage of the inexperience that he may have.
And real quick, after the game, do you allow him, because you want him to feel success and embrace the fact that he won his first start, how much do you kind of work with the player, in this case Malik, to say, allow yourself to celebrate that win, but then, as you said earlier, turn the page to the next opponent?
Yeah, no, that's our process doesn't allow that to happen. I mean, we're all allowed, and in this instance, it was a shorter window because Sunday is typically their day off, and we actually worked. And so, again, the way we are operating, the type of coaching staff we have, this isn't our first rodeo with a young quarterback that won his first game. We can rely on the experience of, there's a lot of things to get cleaned up from the game Saturday that we had to put the attention to. That's where, again, his maturity really jumps out, because he's a kid that won a lot at Spalding, where he played for a former Terp, Kyle Schmidt, and really helped put that program on the map here locally and nationally. So it's not really his first go around with it, and I feel really comfortable with how he has approached it because of it.
Hey, Coach, to piggyback off of that right here, I just wanted to know, with a guy like Malik getting his first start and his first win, how important is that for him to start off as well as he did this season moving forward?
I mean, I told you guys, we don't ease into anything in our program. When the gun goes off, we're off and running. Like today's first day of school, and You know, we've already been checking classes. We've got great attendance, and which is a big thing for us. But with Malik, there's no doubt in my mind that to get off to a fast start is igniting, and we had to start to elevate you out there. At least hit the button to start where you want to go, and we've pushed the button down. And now what we got to do is try to create a little momentum this week.
Hey, Coach, you mentioned the penalties a little bit earlier. 14
You're going to be the first guy to bring it up. So you want me to go ahead and go off, right? No, I'm just kidding, Mike. Just kidding.
14 penalties for 100 yards. Kind of what do you attribute some of those struggles to? And then especially in a short week, how are you kind of cleaning that up for the next game?
Well, let me turn it to the positive side because we had 8 in the first quarter. So that means we improved as the game went along. And that's kind of what I expect when you have a team of guys that haven't played their first that are playing in their first game, at least here in the shell. And the pre-snap ones are the ones that kind of, as a coach, gets under my skin because those are focus issues. I always use this word discipline, but guys, let's not misconstrue it. It's a focus issue because when you say discipline, there's very few parts of my program that players aren't disciplined. And you look at how we dress. We don't come out with T-shirts hanging out of our jerseys. We don't have a bunch of guys with different color socks and stuff on. So I'm going to stop using discipline, and it's a focus issue. Typically, when you deal with 18 to 22-year-old males with a lot of testosterone, focus is a hard thing to coach, but we've gone about getting it corrected this week. And as I've said before, it's a lot like raising kids. And if I were to follow you guys around as parents with a camera and check and see how many times your kid missed homework or didn't get to bed on time or didn't get the car back, I wouldn't think you don't have discipline. So let's get to the end of the season, add it up, and see how we play. But I'm not going to make a big deal out of it, but we will get it corrected.
And then your kicker, Sean, went 3 for 3 on field goals, hit all his extra points. What did you like from him so far?
Didn't I tell you about our kicker? I think in a couple of these press conferences I said that probably the best portal guy we got was this kicker. And to go in and kick a 49-yarder with the wind in his face, and he's one of those guys confidence-wise that there's not a kick he doesn't think he can make, and it really helps as a play caller to know that once you cross the plus 35 that you'll have a chance to come away with points. And Sean's got a strong leg. I wish he could kick off for us. I mean, that's the one area that we do have to, from a kicking game standpoint, we've got to get the ball down in the end zone and not have those drive starts the way they were on Saturday.
Hey, Mike. I noticed Michael Harris only played 5 snaps.
What's your name, Matt?
Matt, yeah.
Hey, Matt.
Michael Harris only played 5 snaps. He didn't get the start, which was a bit surprising considering his role last season. Do you have an update on him? Is there anything going on?
Is that surprising to you, or because it wasn't surprising to us?
He was third. He was third on the team in off-ball snaps last season.
But that was surprising to you, but not to us. So we have things and standards, and Michael understands them. He really did a good job on special teams. I don't know if you track those reps, but was one of our better special teams players on Saturday. As he continues to improve, you'll continue to see Mike play more because he is a talented player that we expect to create value for our program this year.
Hey, Mike.
G.
Wanted to kind of piggyback on the special teams aspect. It seemed like that early in the game when, a couple 3-and-out drives, that was able to keep you guys afloat there. Bryce had some big punts in the game, and Sean's field goals were able to keep that from spiraling into a deficit. Something that you're happy with coming out of the assessment?
That's complementary football. That's what all 3 phases, jobs are to be complementary. And, they're going to be 3-and-outs. That happens. And one of the best quotes I've ever heard was every drive should end with a kick. And they did because we had 0 turnovers, which not one person has said. You guys talk about these penalties, but we got out with a freshman quarterback with no turnovers, and we created 6, and that's a really big deal. But having special teams guys, they get 1 shot, 1 kill, and Bryce has been as good as any punter in the country. I'm surprised he wasn't on the Ray Guy early watch list, which I'm putting it out there now. He's a guy that should be based on what he's been able to do, and then the addition of Sean, and then don't leave out Ethan Goff, who really has been consistent, and when you don't hear the long snapper's name, that's a big deal.
Mike, talking about Daniel Wingate in the mold of E.J. Henderson, obviously very high praise. What are the heights he can reach? Like, how far can he take it? How good can he be?
I heard President Pine say something about limitless in one of the videos he put out, and so I would think for number one, Daniel Wingate, it's limitless of the heights he can reach, and he's one of those guys that's been that guy as a young player. I mean, even when he wasn't playing very much, he was a guy that was on our leadership council because he's made up of the right stuff. And Very similar. I was here during EJ's years. Very similar to EJ. He's not a man of a lot of words. Just goes about doing his business. The players in that locker room really respect him, and with some of the subtractions of guys that have left this program, it's allowed him to become the leader. He became kind of the face. We took him to Vegas with us, and I really like the way he's trending.
Hey, Coach. Harrison Rich.
Over here.
Oh,
Inside Maryland
what's
Sports.
up, Harrison? How
What's
you
up?
doing, man?
Good. You've talked about Sydney's leadership and maturity coming as a true freshman. I'm curious, how have you seen that maybe rub off on other guys in the locker room when they see a freshman like that so motivated to do well?
Yeah, this freshman group is different, and they come in with a lot of leadership qualities because a lot of these guys were guys that could have went anywhere in the country, and very few in this generation of kids, very few players like a Sydney, like a Malik, that have maybe the ability to go to some places that you guys would deem better places per se. When they come here and decide to come here, it shows that they got great leadership because they don't follow. Because the normal great recruit's going to go to the top 10 team, not a team that won 4 games a year ago. And so when you look at these guys and decisions they made, I think they started showing early the type of character they had by just making a decision to come here and help us get this program back to where we all wanted to be.
Mike, do you have what's the status of Jalen Gilchrist and Justin Martin?
Yeah, they both are out this week. We have some more medical things to do here the next couple of days to be able to determine. We'll know a lot more. I think Saturday Friday night we'll put out our report, but we haven't had all the conclusive evidence yet to know what. But I do know they're out for this game coming up Friday.
With Jalen's injury specifically, how much does that affect what you would do with the offensive line? Because it looked like he was in there.
He's a good player, a young player that really was playing well in that game. We forced him in there, I think, the 3rd series of the game. Our goal was to play him because, much like some of these other guys we talked about the success they had, he was having some quiet success, rotating in as a guy that added tremendous depth. How does it affect us? It affects us, a little bit in that we lose an offensive lineman, which we were already thin at that position group, coming into it with the loss of Mike McMonagle for the year and his ACL. But you know what? This opportunity, this unfortunate opportunity also gives an opportunity to guys like Davon Watkins and Rob Sock and some of those younger players to have opportunities now to develop, and we'll get those guys ready to play.
Hey, Coach. Jay Cotter of the Diamondback.
Hey, man.
Hey. Dante Joyner, Jamari Glasgow, just 16 combined receiving yards against them. Just what did you see from them?
Yeah, again, we talked about a position group a year ago that was tough. We added those 2 guys from the portal, and both those guys have played really well early for us. And the good thing is that we kind of saw that in practice, and that those guys really did a great job all camp and in the spring, contesting the balls in the air and coming up with their hands on balls. And Dante, I call him the little reservation dog. He doesn't try to look pretty in his uniform. He just loves playing football, and you can tell with the energy and passion he plays with. Jamari's more of a thinker, the quiet guy, the guy that's the silent kind of killer, and I really like his mental makeup of how he plays the position. And the guy you didn't mention was Kerm. Kerm in the nickel slot did a tremendous job for us, a couple of 4th down tackles, which are like turnovers, and that was a big step for us in the right direction with this secondary, especially with how many new bodies we have over there. And they're coming along well. Great job by Coach Ted and Azar getting those guys ready to play. Oh, I'm sorry. Kevin Humes, number 4.
Coach up here, Ryan Martin, you're at the cameras with WMEC Sports.
What's up, Ryan?
Not much. You talked about developing the run game around Malik, and with the first year under Pep, just what were your first game thoughts on how Nolan, Dewan, the younger guys in the running game put in that first game work?
I mean, if there was a position or an area, the run game, because of what I saw us doing camp, because I know of Pep's philosophy as a coordinator and how important the run game is to all of us, it was below par for me. It was an area where there were some yardage left on the field. We had a coming out situation where if we just bang the ball out of the backside A-gap, it's a huge gain for us. And so good thing is these are all things now that we have them on tape against an opponent as opposed to just the everyday grind of practice film. I think you'll see us get better at that position group because they're talented between Dewan and Nolan. Both guys have triple threats, can run, block, and catch. I expect those guys to play better. There are two guys that are playmakers that we've got to get them going. Dewan had a few runs in there, but all in all, I'd say that that's the one area going in, as I talked about in the beginning part of the conference, that we've got to get the run game going this week.
Hey, Coach. We've talked a lot about the newcomers to this Maryland program, but who were some of the returning players that you felt most impressed you during that game or took a step up from last season?
Yep, Lou Ball, 66. He had a holding call that I won't even get into right now, but Lou Ball has played really, really well. Octavian Smith Jr. maybe not had the production, but if you watch the way Ock's effort in the run game was where you wanted it to be. 22, Husky. Again, another guy that returning, kind of quarterbacked us back there on the defensive side, got guys lined up the right way. Dylan Fontes is another one up front. Didn't start last year, but played some meaningful reps, and he was really consistent for us. So a few of those returning guys that we think really did a good job.
Coach,